So that's going to be the same here, here, when we do the worksheet. Always, I want you to find it in all 4 quadrants. Which means, if it lands in a quadrant, there's going to be 2 answers. There are 2 places where the sign's positive, there's 2 places where it's negative. There's 2 places where the cosine's positive, there's 2 places where it's negative. The only time you won't have 2 answers is if it lands on an axis. So you're like the cosine of 180 is a -1, right? So there'd only be 1 answer where it's a -1. So you can have that little chart out to use it, and you can also want your calculator out. So first we're going to start with a simple solve. But we are going to be making use of our calculators. So solving is the same. What would I do?
Subtract 5 from both sides.
Divide by 3, I heard that. And now we want to find the angle, because isn't that what the x is standing for?
Yeah.
So on your calculator, you're going to find the reference angle. And the reference, I always put r theta, that means your reference angle. You take second sine of 1 divided by 3. And then you have to hit degrees, minutes, and seconds.
If we have a backwards calculator, how do we do it?
Yours is a normal calculator.
Backwards.
That's normal. So 1 divided by 3, they came before the reverse polar.
Divide by 3, and then
Second sine, and then degrees, minutes, seconds, which is that one right there. So you want to hit second in that key.
Do you want this in the nearest minute?
Nearest minute, always to the nearest minute. So what you guys get for an answer?
1928.
1928? Anybody else 1928? Anybody not get 1928? Okay. Yes? Good. Now, also remember, you've got to remember all students take calculus, so that helps you decide where it's positive and negative. If it's in the first quadrant, you don't have to do anything to it. If it's in the second, you take 180 minus it. If it's in the third, you take it minus 180. And if it's in the fourth, it's 360 to place it in the quadrant. Oh, plus, you're right. I'm saying reference angle, not placing. Okay, so where is the sign positive at?
First, second.
First and second. And we did this a little bit before, but not solving. So to place it in the first, I don't have to do anything, right? So it's 1928. To place it in the second, you got to take 180 minus it. And when I borrow a degree. And a degree is 60 minutes. So I get 160/32. I always found it's easier just to do it yourself than to put it in the calculator.
It's what, 160/32?
160/32. Okay, we're good on that one. Okay, let's go. What would we do to solve this one? Add 5? Everybody agree? Then what would be the next step? Divide by 2. Bless you. And then square root it. Which when you square root it, that gives you positive and negative answers. Square root of 6 is just square root of 6, right? Okay, so we need to find the reference angle. To find your reference angle, that's where you're going to go second tangent of the square root of 6, and then degrees, minutes, seconds.
67/48.
Anybody else get 67/48? Okay, now, where is the tangent positive at? Where's it negative at?
Second and fourth.
So if you have a square root on it, you're going to end up placing it in all 4 quadrants, because there's 2 places it's positive and 2 places it's negative. So to place it in the first, I don't need to do anything. To place it in the third, I need to take 180 plus it. To place it in the second, you need to take 180 minus it. And when you borrow a degree, you borrow 60. And to place it in the fourth, you take 360 minus it. And again, I'm borrowing a degree, I borrow 60 minutes.
Is that 112, 12? 112, 121?
112, 12. Because 48 from 60 is 12, right? And then 67 from 179 is 112 too. That doesn't happen all the time, but it did on that one. Okay, we're good with that example? So far we had a simple solve.
Ms. Davis,
Yes,
Delaney's still catching up.
okay. Well, I'm just gonna explain. A
Okay.
simple solve and one that involves square rooting, right? Okay, next example. What? There's what we're gonna be doing. Does everybody see it?
We also use the double angle.
Yeah, now we get rid of a double angle if we had one. So yeah, that is the double angle formula, I agree, but if you had sine of a double angle, you'd make it become this because I can
Okay.
factor. So if you factor out a cosine, what does that leave me?
2 sine minus 1.
And since it's equal to 0, which it has to be equal to 0 in order to factor, right?
Isn't that cosine squared?
No? 2 sine squared is cosine squared. I see what you're thinking of, a double angle.
Okay.
All we need to do is, once you factor, is set each of the factored groups equal to 0 and solve. So cosine is going to be set to 0 and 2 sine minus 1 is going to be set to 0. Now, where's cosine 0? This one you need your chart because it lands on an axis. Or you should remember them. It is at 90 and 27. Remember, if it lands on an axis, sometimes it only occurs one place, but sometimes it occurs 2 times. And if I included 360, it'd occur 3 times. But we're only not including 360. Everybody notice that. Okay, now what would I do to solve this one?
Add 1,
Add 1.
divide by 2.
So what's my reference angle?
30 degrees.
30 degrees. So I need to place that in the, where's it positive at? First and second, so that one's easy. Place it in the first. Place it in the second, I take 180 minus it. And I get 30 degrees and 150 degrees. So this one, we have 4 answers. The 90, the 270, 30, and 150. So you could end up with many, many answers. I know this one that we're going to be doing on Monday when we return has a lot of answers. But you're going to need to practice it a lot.
For sine, what was it, 30 and 150?
30 and 150. Because remember, you placed it in the first and in the second quadrant.
So if it's like plus or minus, like with the.
If it's a square root and it's plus or minus, you got to place it in all 4 quadrants.
But if it's not, then you just find where it's
You just
positive.
find where it's positive or find where it's negative, which I'll do a quick one that's a negative. You might not need to write this one down, but it's just a basic one. Let's say I have 4 cosine of x equals negative 1. So this is simple solve, negative 1/4, right? Only thing I need you guys to do is to find the reference angle. Remember, you never put the negative in the calculator, you just put the 1/4 in. The negative is your job. You're supposed to place it in the appropriate quadrants.
75 degrees and 31.
75, 31? Does everybody get 75, 31?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now, where is the cosine negative at?
4th quadrant.
Where, no, it's positive in the fourth.
Sorry,
Third,
second
and third.
Second and third. I always think, where is it?
Half reference.
I say, where is it positive at, which would be first and fourth,
Yeah,
so it
that's
has to
right.
be negative in the other two, right? So to place it in the second, you take 180 minus. And to place it in the third, you take 180 plus it. two answers? Is everybody good there? Okay, one other thing I wanna show you. Well, I guess there's one more I wanna show too. I can always think of something else. And I don't think we'll have any of these today, but we will when we come back, so just in the case you do. What would you do on this? You can't factor.
Would you change the cosine squared to sine squared?
That's why we're learning the identities, because you're gonna have to get them in terms of the same trig. So cosine squared, isn't it 1 minus sine squared? So if I distribute, that's 3 minus 3 sine squared minus 2 sine. And I don't like negative squares, so I'm gonna move everything to the other side. I know a lot of people aren't that picky, but I am. So this would be 0 equals 3 sine squared plus 2 sine minus 3. And then it's a quadratic equation. Everybody see that? And we're solving for sine, because that's our trig, but you still use the quadratic the way you normally would. The quadratic formula, it's the quadratic equation, see? So negative b would be a negative 2 plus or minus, what's your b squared? Minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Does everybody follow that through? So now, underneath the radical, what am I gonna get there? 12 times 3 is 36, so that'd be 40?
Yeah.
4 plus 40? I mean, 4 plus 36 is 40. That simplifies. So it'd be negative 2 plus or minus 2 square roots of 10 over 6. Then I can reduce everything by 2. So I've got a negative 1 plus the square root of 10 over 3. And a negative 1 minus the square root of 10 over 3. That is all equal to the sine. So now you gotta find the reference angle that goes with it. And I know you don't have many that do this today, but Monday we will have a few. So if you take a negative 1, you guys got your calculators ready? Want to make sure you enter this correctly. What's a negative 1 plus the square root of 10? Hit equal because you're at the end of a line, and divide it by 3. What did you get?
I got syntax error.
I got 0.72.
You got 0.7?
Oh,
Now,
I think I know I did wrong.
if you got a reverse polar calculator, hit second sign of the answer. That way you don't have to retype. You just have to hit second sign on a normal
I
calculator.
had no idea what I did wrong.
Go a negative 1
Mm-hmm.
plus the square root of 10. Hit equal when you get finished doing that, Mason. Then divide that by 3.
I'm still getting domain error or syntax error.
46.7.
We haven't even done anything with trig yet. It's just putting in the number.
Right, okay, sign.
No, don't even put sign in. Don't put sign in at all, because you don't even know if you're gonna be able to do it. So negative 1 plus the square root of 10, hit equal. Now divide that by 3. Now hit second sign of the answer. See the answer? See? I just hit second to get it, then hit equal. Now degrees, minutes, seconds. So you guys had 46 something?
46 degrees.
46,
seven
07?
Yeah. How would you do that?
You entered it just like I told you to. Negative 1 plus the square root of 10. Hit equal. Divided by 3. Now you want the sign of it. So you hit second sign of the answer. Answer's down there, if you see it. Hit second again, then hit equal, and then degrees, minutes, seconds. That way, not all of these will you be able to do. Because remember, you don't want the negative involved, so that's why we do it separately. This was like a 0.7 something, right? Yep, wasn't it 0.7 something? So this would be positive, so that means I want to place it in the first and the second. And we'll come back and do that. Okay, next one. Are you guys ready to try this one?
And we find where that's positive?
We're going to come back and do that. We're going to find where it's positive, which is first and second. Now, to put this in your calculator, you're gonna go a -1 minus the square root of 10, hit equal, divide it by 3. Tell me what number you get.
Negative 1.3.
-1.3. Already know your answer's gonna be no solution. And the reason for that is sine is only between, remember when we graphed it?
Yeah, it's between
Yeah.
1 and a -1. So anytime you get a number greater than 1 or less than a -1, it's gonna be no solution on that.
So we just write no solution.
So that's why I do the numbers separate, so you have the opportunity to see what type of number you're gonna get. Now I go back and to place 4607 in the first, that's easy. 4607. So to place it in the second, I'm gonna take 180 minus it. So I borrow a degree, so it's gonna be 53, 133, 53, and that would be the answers. So there are gonna be some problems that you're gonna use the quadratic formula on Monday. I think all of today's will factor, so you don't have to worry about it. Like this one was capable of factor. Or if I had, what if I had sine squared minus 3x, or 3 sine of x plus 2 equals 0? Isn't that capable of being factored? Do you see what I'm saying? Sine times sine. And then 2 and 1, both of them negative. Because that's a 2, so -1 times -2 is +2. And a negative sign plus a -2 sign is a -3 sign. Then all you'd have to do is set each of them equal to 0 and solve each of them. What do you know about this one already?
They should both be equals.
Well, that would be no solution on that one, right? Because you can't be larger than 1. This one, where is the sign gonna be 1? I think there's only one place, because it's on the axis,
9 degrees.
90 degrees. Okay, do you follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can factor some of them, but there's gonna be some on Monday that are not gonna be factorable that you'd have to use your quadratic formula. Okay, now, 17 through 22. I wanna see first 3, 4, whatever you can get done. I think my goal is to make sure you get them all done.